pagan cultists. And furthermore, no forensic evidence such as DNA or electronic evidence like links Richard Allen to the bills or to the crime scene, i.e., he is a completely innocent man. Okay, right. That's why he confessed. And that's why he said he was at the bridge. He's innocent. I mean, an innocent person would say that, but he was just trying to get ahead of it. Most of the evidence backing these assertions was found scattered over less than 10 hard drives and several flash drives provided by the prosecution, meaning that the defense is not making wild accusations, but rather...
Can you folks hear that? Just making sure you can hear that. Good. All right, we're going to be talking and listening to the Delphi memorandums and reports that they had real quick here on some things that they're going through. So let's take a listen.
Having it. Yeah. Kind of, I wonder, I mean, it just feels like there's definitely a connection with them. Because this is exactly the same garbage. And the lawyers wouldn't have been thinking of all this stuff. No way. And it's written poorly. It's written, this part here seems like a little bit better, okay? But later on, it just turns into an absolute shit show, for lack of a better term. Thank you, Vegas Andrews. All right. Number 7, not coincidentally, members, Odinists, of the same pagan cult are employed as correction officers for the Indiana Department of Corrections at Westerville Correctional Facility. It is inside of the cold concrete walls of maximum security unit of this dilapidated reformatory that Richard Allen is being treated, intimidated, and mentally abused by the Odinists, who would like nothing better to have Richard Allen, a non-Odinist who is falling on a sword, for them to be harassed and cajoled. What a joke. Throughout the document, references are made to the Unified Command. Essentially, the Unified Command was the leadership of the Delphi murder investigation, according to Tony Liggett, Carroll County Sheriff and member of the United Command when the investigation began. Unified Command consisted of law enforcement from a variety of entities. Local, state, and federal Unified Command were overseers of the entire investigative operation. According to Liggett, the member of the Unified Command were from Carroll County, Tony Liggett and Kevin Hannon. From State Police, Jerry Holman, Jay Harper, and Dave Vito. Okay, down here it says, Defense Counsel is not saying, okay, so for number 7 here, you always read the footnotes down here. Not coincidentally, members of this same pagan cult are employed at as corrections officers for the Indiana Department of Corrections. It is inside this cold concrete walls of the maximum unit of this dilapidated reformatory that Richard Allen is being treated, threatened, intimidated, and mentally abused. And down here it says, Defense Counsel is not saying that the Westerville guards were involved in the murders, only that they were likely involved in threatening, intimidating, and mentally abusing Richard Allen. Okay, all right. I see. I know. Yeah. It's one of the worst people on the planet mentioned on that page. Just a disgusting person. The fake crier. Blame the family for. See, what's weird about these people is have any of them apologized to how they treated Becky, Kelsey, Mike, and everybody? Now they're all over the Odinist stuff. Yeah. That slow Joe wacko, he's an embarrassment to mankind. Honestly. All right. Now we're on this one. From the FBI, Odinism, Odinites, and runes. Odinism is the pagan religion referenced above, and his followers are called Odinites. Odinites are enamored of Viking Nordic culture. Evidence supports that the crime scene these murdering Odinites left behind obvious signature symbols in the form of runes. See, obvious, they're saying. Left behind obvious signature symbols in the form of runes. Obvious, they say. These runes were 1, formed with sticks, 2, fashioned with tree branches, and 3, painted using the blood of Liberty Germ. Okay, well, so the thing is if it really was painted, I would believe that, but we saw the Barbara McDonald. We saw the Barbara McDonald image where it looks like little spattered dots that go.
Yes, now let's talk about that. The photo that we're seeing, there is a YouTuber out there that is a ex-investigator, detective, and did work with criminology. And he looked at the photo. And what he determined was the photo that we are actually seeing is not the real description or photo or image of what the police have. That it is a photoed up image that somebody was asked to recreate of what it looked like because they supposedly was there and seen the blood marks or whatever it was on the trees. Okay, on the tree out there. And it don't look like a handprint. And the reason why I say it don't look like a handprint is because it's all dotted like someone took a paintbrush or something and dotted it. There's no runs in it. You would think if it was blood, it would be absorbed somewhat into the tree. But the size of some of them dots that we're seeing, that means there would be a lot of blood there. So I imagine there would be some evidence of running, right? And the other thing is we're not seeing no palm prints in the blood. If that was a hand covered in blood and it went up against that tree and left that amount of blood, it would have dried. But it would have dried also with imprints in it if there was a lot of it and it coagulated before it actually all dried. Now you have to remember, at that time it was February. So it was chilly. Definitely at night. Let's get back to listening to the report here.
Go out and it doesn't really, I wouldn't even have thought it was an F when I first saw it.
Can you guys hear the guy talking? If you can someone let me know? If not, I'm just going with it.
Except I knew it was an F, so I go, ooh, maybe it's an F. Yeah, it's just same thing as the EVP, the spirit box reading, whatever, or like a face in the clouds, whatever they tell you they see first. I see a walking stick. Yeah. Am I showing what? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't showed it today. I think I have images somewhere. Let's see, where are they?
All right. So he said he's not seeing a handprint or anything. He believes it to be like a walking stick, which I would have to agree with Mr. Gray Hughes. That very well might be what we're looking at is the handle of a walking stick. And you know what? I think I even have a walking stick around here. And you know what? Now that he mentions that, it very well might be a walking stick or a cane or something. Very interesting. And when you do look at it, I'm not seeing enough. I'm just not seeing enough. And plus, it's dotted. We're seeing blotches. We're not seeing the actual print. So it very well might be a walking stick or even a stick that the guy was using to walk through there with, like a broken stick or something. So it might be something like that and not a handprint. Um, Being a handprint, you would think that it would be consistent all the way through. The image would be consistent, not blotted and dots. Like if it was sprayed, like a blood pattern, uh, or someone took a paintbrush and dotted it perfectly with it, right? It's not looking like a handprint that would be smudged. It would be a full print. There wouldn't be dots all over it. But then again, that could be the bark of the tree. The reason we're not seeing a full imprint of a hand or a palm print is because of the bark. So the hand would have touched in certain spots, but the bark would have came out further. If anyone's seen like a oak tree or trees that have big bark on it, you can put your hand on it, but your hand don't go all the way down into the inner part of the bark. So that's what we might be seeing is it could be a handprint, but his hand didn't touch the inside. Well, it's hard to explain. I would have to show you. Anybody that knows bark, especially a thick, big tree bark that's barky, you know, that would make sense. That's why you're only seeing blood patterns in certain spots. But Mr. Gray Hughes uh, might be right. That might be a walking stick or even a stick that the guy picked up to walk through there. Maybe, maybe to try and get up that steep incline if they did cross the bridge. Hello, Epiphony. So let's listen to a little bit more here. What's going on?
In that case, it would be, it's not as likely that it was just some branch on the ground that they threw over. You know. Additionally, the blood of Liberty German was used as the paint. Really. To mark a tree with a rune that looks similar to the letter F. Okay, I'm glad they use similar because it doesn't look like an F at all when you don't see an F written over the top of it.
Exactly. He's right about that.
Mm-hmm.
He's right about that. You don't see an F until these people point it out.
So what do you guys make of this? Keep it shizzy. Do you guys think she's a troll or just a regular person?
So he does make a good point there. I didn't really see an F. If anything, I seen a P, right? Not an F until these people brought up, well, it's an F. But when you really do look at it don't look like an F to me. If anything, what, a cursive? Written in cursive? But I'm not seeing an F there, not a full thing like these people are drawing on it. Well, it's an F, look at it. Well, now it is. You just wrote it. You just drew an F over it. But I'm not seeing an F either. Well, Mr. Gray Hughes might be right. That might be maybe a tree branch that he was using. Maybe in maybe something, I don't know. We really don't know the external damage of the crime scene, meaning we really don't know because we don't have the photos. And this ain't the autopsy report. This ain't the forensic evidence report. The guys that went through the whole case, right? This is just a defense report, so we really don't know what the extent was of their injuries. Now it is in this that both of their throats were lashed, and that was it. That was all the damage that the bodies had. That this documentation is saying. So we really don't know yet. But he does have a good point. That could be a stick, maybe like a walking stick, or maybe just a regular random stick that he picked up, and there was like two branches on it or something. You know, maybe, I don't know, because this is actually the photos that we are seeing. Excuse me, are really not the photos. They are a diagram that someone was asked to duplicate that was there and seen it. So hold on a minute, folks. So he might be right. All right, let's listen in on some more of this.
Because the comments are just, you know, I'll leave it up to the moderators. Okay. All right. I'll leave it up to the moderators. You guys figure it out. I can't do it. Ridiculous. Good night, KB. Thank you very much for your super chat. Let's see. So down here it says, although State Police Superintendent Doug Carter pulled the plug and kicked the FBI off the Delphi murder case around 2021 over some conflicts, according to Jerry Holman deposition page 123 to 130. Interestingly, Tony Liggett, who was deposed before Holman, claimed under oath that Doug Carter was not involved in making decisions for the case. Liggett's deposition, page 30, line 10 to 24. Furthermore, Liggett claimed to be unaware that the FBI was even kicked out, let alone that any agency had actually kicked out the FBI from the investigation.
Ooh, all right. So now this report is saying that Doug Carter kicked the FBI off of the case, but I don't think that was the case. You know, the FBI was already in the area down there investigating another murder that was going on. So people were questioning how did the FBI get there so soon? And the answer is because I'm sorry folks, we got a problem down. We got a problem down in Indiana down south. But actually, and plus the FBI branch is in Indianapolis. So that's right out there by him. So the reason they got there so fast is because they were already out there looking at another case that was going on out there. So it's hard for me to believe that Doug Carter kicked the FBI off. Once they start an investigation, usually you can't kick the FBI off of the investigation. It's the federal government. And now these other police are saying that they had no idea that the FBI was kicked off. That they usually don't work that way, and that's what's fishy. I mean, Usually, if the FBI is in on it, which I'm wondering why were the FBI, who were they tracking out there? And that's why we want to question Brian Kohlberger in the Idaho 4 case. I know the MOs match and everything, and there was a reason, I think. And I'll tell you what, I want to thank the Indianapolis or the Indiana State Police uh, and the other police departments in Indiana that did keep an eye on Brian Kohlberger when he came through here. And I imagine that's why they did keep an eye on him was uh, it's very interesting. The MOs, the knives and staging of bodies and all kinds of crap going on. And at that time, I do believe that Kohlberger was in college and was doing studies, asking people to contact him about breaking crimes and jail and what people felt like when they killed somebody. And, this is very interesting. Now, I could be just had way too much of an open mind on this case, but anything is possible. All right, let's get back to listening to this. Let me see what Epiphonium's got to say. I'm not familiar with the Delphi case. Don't get involved. There's people that are already big, huge crime channels that have gotten involved, and their minds are blown. They're like, this is unbelievable. How the police were actual suspects. One of the sheriffs of Delphi was actually a suspect, and they were saying that he was Bridge Guy. This is a wild case. It's crazy, but I think we know what's going on. I think this whole thing, I think, has been made to be something. All right, let's listen to some more of this. Epiphonium says, I've heard the Delphi name, but not much on the details. Oh, Epiphonium. Buckle up when you get into this one. Unreal. I mean, YouTubers confessing that they had their DNA taken, phones taken, and questioned, and they're a crime channel. I mean, I know it's not funny, but these guys were crime channels. Self-proclaimed bounty hunters and sheriffs and all kinds of stuff. So this is a wild case. You don't want to get into this, right? This is unbelievable. It'll make your head spin. Every week it changed. This case has been going on for 7 years. Every year it takes a switch and change and everything. I'm like, this has got to be some kind of a bad production of something. All right, let's listen in a little bit more on this guy. And this guy's pretty smart, right? And the guy we're listening to right now, Gray Hughes, he was actually a suspect in the case. One of the YouTubers, I think it was Greeno or Harm, one of these dudes said that it was Gray Hughes that was Bridge Guy. This case was unbelievable.
Odd that the silent topic of Doug Carter, or the salient topic, it's so small. Man, that's like the tiniest. Of Doug Carter kicked the FBI off the Delphi case would never have been discussed between Liggett and Pullman, who are working so closely with one another in unified command. If that can be believed, it would be quite perplexing. Number 9, Merriam-Webster defines rune as any of the characters of any several alphabets used by the Germanic peoples from about 3rd to 13th centuries. 18 mini runes look like the letter F, including a rune called Ansuz, which, among other things, stands for Odin. They nailed it, everybody. Boy, it's right there. Oh, let's all change our minds now, boy. They got it nailed.
The Odins. Unbelievable.
Let's see. And what do we got here?
You know what's funny though is how this case all of a sudden took in this huge turn. But this information that we're listening to right now was actually brought up probably about 4 years ago. And it was leaked by either family members, searchers, or these YouTubers because the police are insisting they didn't release that information yet about the sticks and the placement. They didn't release any of this stuff. So that's interesting, right? And the photo that we're actually seeing today in the F shape with the is actually not the actual imprint that was there. It was a description of what someone's seen that somebody created on a computer and photo opt or whatever to create it. So we're not actually even seeing the real photograph that was there that day. We're seeing a description that someone else interpreted. Hello, Debbie Fox. So nice of you to join me. I know you're a very busy woman. Is there anything I can get you guys? A cup of tea or anything? Soda or anything? All right, let's get back to listening to what's going on.
Diener, that nothing, absolutely nothing, links Richard Allen to Odinism. Well, why would he? Or any other religious cult. Also, no forensic, such as DNA, no electronic data extracted from his computer or phones or from his social media links Richard Allen to the crime scene. Additionally, nothing links Richard Allen to any other Odinite suspects, the same Odinite suspects that evidence strongly supports sacrifice Abby and Libby in some sort of pagan ritual. Richard Allen had nothing to do with the crime, but rather was an innocent man, a patsy for the police. Man, he would have been a great patsy for the Odinites, though, right? Because
all right, so now defense is saying that Richard Allen was an scapegoat, possibly, which he possibly could have been. And here's the thing, no one will ever really know because we weren't there. And with lack of evidence, photos, and seeing all of the video and listening to all the video that was found on the phone, we can't make a determination, right? This is the point where they're going to drive us crazy. Meaning, it's getting ready to go into trial, into court. They know that. So they're going to put out anything they can before this court date starts and we get inside of what really happened and all the evidence, photos, and all the everything. So it's hard to, can we even believe this documentation? Real, some of it don't. A lot of people can't fathom Elvis being in it, right? As soon as they started talking about Elvis, everybody is like, what is this? So we really don't know, but let's listen a little bit more to what Hughes has to say.
he's the guy they should have let go down for it. Yeah, well, maybe Cindy, who knows? Yeah, I guess they're talking about all the Odinite. Now, law enforcement failure to actively pursue the obvious links between the crime scene and Odinism is confounding. It is even more confounding when days and weeks after the murders, a particular Odinite from Loganport named Brad posted on social media images mimicking the very runes found at the crime scene. Okay, let me see the very runes, the exact one, the asterisk, the V1, and then the F. Which is a particular Odinite mimicking the very runes found at the crime scene. The crime scene, unrelated and unknown to the general public, even to this day. Who was Brad Holder, they said. He was an Odinite whose son, Logan, had been dating Abby. Brad Holder's social media posts seemingly taunted the very police that.
All right. So this guy Holder, which there's a lot of people going, wait a minute, this dude looks like Sullivan. I'm like, I know this is a crazy case, man. He does. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna lie to these people. He does, right? This Holder guy that everyone's saying is an Odin does look like the Sullivan dude. I do agree with that, which will be on Anthony Scarino's channel here in a couple days, doing an interview with him or something with this Sullivan guy. But anyways, so here's the thing I'm getting. This girl was 12 years old. I think she was 12 or 13. And this guy Holder's son was dating her, which is shocking at that age, right? Which was shocking. But here's starting to get at now. Okay. He's his son is dating one of the girls. She's young, he's young. I don't know how old he is at that time. But this is radical, man. This is unbelievable. But we heard a little bit about this report. But I think where a couple of these YouTubers got their information was from this report, supposedly. Or I think the stick stuff and everything. Now, if you remember, these YouTubers were saying the girls were penetrated with sticks and carved up carvings in their bodies and their hands were chopped off, and it was very gruesome. But they also did talk about sticks. So these YouTubers got the crime scene right. But guess what, folks? That information was not released yet by the police. Do you guys start to see what we're seeing here? I don't know. Let's talk to Mr. Hughes. Well, listen to Mr. Hughes a little bit more. This is nuts. Gets nuttier by the minute. I'm sorry, Debbie. Can you guys hear the stuff, the guy talking? Let's get into this some more. Oh, this is crazy. Put your strap in. Get your chocolate bars and your popcorn. This is mad. Professional YouTubers have looked at this and gone, this is nuts. Oh, it gets crazy.
Refused.
This is the only case where the police were actually suspects. Who's the suspect? It's this sheriff.
To fully investigate the defense, to investigate him. The defense believes that the court will be shocked at the number of clues or Easter eggs both before and after the murders. The Holder openly posted on his Facebook page that pointed the finger to his involvement in the murders. I went back and looked. I didn't see anything that pointed to his involvement. I didn't see a damn thing. Nothing. However, a fact that is simply mind-blowing to the defense is that Brad Holder was never considered a suspect in the murder of Abby and Libby. State Trooper Jerry Holman, one of the law enforcement officers. So has anybody seen the pictures, all three of them that mimic the exact same ones, the sticks on Abby, the sticks on Libby, and the F on the tree, that he put all in one image on his Facebook page?
All right, the images they're talking about, I think, is in that photo on Brad Holder's Facebook site, and it's a coffee table with these images carved into them, inlaid. Right, looks like maybe they're inlaid into the coffee table or whatever. You know. So that's what he's talking about. This guy posted photos of the same way the sticks were posted or laid on the body of the girls. But actually, in real life, now it's come out. I think yesterday or today, I was watching a video that they came out and said that the picture that we're seeing, that everyone is showing of the girls with the sticks put on them, is actually not even the way that the sticks were actually found on the girl. So what we are going off of, possibly, like Mr. Gray Hugh was saying, and I seen him on Court TV yesterday. Gray Hughes was on Court TV yesterday doing an interview, and he said the same thing, that this documentation uh, seems kind of funny, and it does, because it don't go into details about anything. It just says this guy, that, the bodies, yada yada. It don't explain in detail anything. And now we're coming to find out that even the stick pattern that was found on the girls is not what people are showing on the internet. So explain that. That right there is, we don't know. We're going by what somebody is saying and what defense is putting out, when actually we weren't there and we didn't see the crime scene photos. So we actually don't know, as jurors, which we are jurors in this case, right? Investigators and jurors. We really don't know the truth because we don't have the photos of the crime scene. We're going off what other people are saying, and we're finding out that these people are not who they say they are. In this documentation, it says that they talked to a expert professor from Dubai or someplace, but yet in the same breath, it said that when they tried to contact the expert professor, that they actually never talked to him. They talked to other people that said that it had nothing to do with Odinism. The way the sticks were laid on the body. And it's a good chance the sticks were not laid on the body as these people are predicting or showing on YouTube. Right? Let me see what my chat is saying. Big cost fan here. I love nutting. There you go. This is nutty, gets nuttier by the minute. I think at times we are all a little bit nutty. And I think you all are nutty. There you go. Two nutties. All right, let's get back to this.
Anybody seen those? Where it's an exact same replica? Now you saw something. That doesn't mean a damn thing. You saw something. Give me a break. Yeah, it was an F with sticks, so that doesn't mean anything. See, a lot of people knew about the letter F early on. Okay, a lot of people did, and that was in March of 2017.
Well, here's actually the truth. People really didn't know about the F. And I'm not seeing enough. And a lot of people are not seeing enough. Right? We were told that there was carvings in the trees in the beginning of this case. But it wasn't an F. It was supposedly a K. And that's what a couple of these YouTubers were saying. And we found that out to be Not true. But here again, let me state this one more time. It might well be true because we have not seen the actual photos of the crime scene. So they could be telling us it's an A, B, C, D, and E, and F carved on there. This is what it is on the tree, this, that, this, that. Uh, but actually, in reality, we don't know because we have not actually seen the photos. All right, let's get back to this.
Let's see. Claimed in August, was never a suspect. On March 1st, 2017, Tony Liggett stated in a report that there were no leads required concerning Brad Holder, meaning that it was not necessary for law enforcement to continue to look for leads related to Brad Holder. Liggett made the determination a mere 15 days after the girls were murdered. By March 16, 2023, Unified Command member Kevin Hannon wrote that Brad Holder had been cleared. The girls hadn't been dead for 30 days, and Unified Command had already cleared him. Yeah, because he had an alibi as a suspect. Unified Command had already cleared Holder as a suspect within 30 days, knowing that Brad Holder's son dated Abby. Okay, well, is his son not allowed to date Abby because maybe you might think he was murdered the girls or something? I really understand that part. Unified Command had already cleared Holder as a suspect within 30 days of the murder, although a simple review. But you notice how they always repeat stuff over and over again? Like, he was cleared after 30 days, even though. He was cleared after 30 days, even though.
Here's the truth. Do you folks want the truth? Nobody has been cleared. Nobody. The police have not actually come down and said, these people are cleared. Do they understand that? And another YouTuber pointed that out in a chat that I seen that said, actually, nobody's been cleared. The police have never come out and said this person is clear. All the suspects, they never came out and mentioned individual names of the people that were cleared. I'll tell you what, sometimes these police are pretty smart. These people are saying, oh, they were cleared, and they were questioned, but they were cleared. And I was shocked myself when I found out a couple of these YouTubers that we all sub to, that we thought were crime fighters, were actually questioned and asked for DNA, and property was taken from them. A lot of people were shocked. These guys were blaming, well, this gentleman that we're listening to right now, Gray Hughes. He was actually a suspect. Some people said it's him. That's Bridge Guy, right? That's what a lot of people are saying. These other YouTubers. I was like, you got to be kidding me. This guy's he's reporting on it. The guy's a crime fighter. No, that's him, man. That's Bridge Guy. I mean, this case was unbelievable, right? I was laughing myself. I don't know who Bridge Guy is. You know why? Because I can't get a good enough photo or video of the guy. Because the video they did put out was pixelated and all gainy. It wasn't put through the proper software to be cleaned up before they put it out. And you only get a small piece of it. We're not seeing a close-up photo of the guy. We're seeing a photo that was taken 20 feet away, 30 feet away of the guy walking up to him. How far did that video go? Does that video go to where that guy is standing in front of the camera, 2 foot away, where we got a crystal clear vision of this idiot? Right? What do the police know? I wish they would release it. I wish they would. I know when Sheriff Carter says one day, you folks want to know what happened. One day you'll know. Come on. They should have released that part, everything. the whole footage of that guy, not 20 seconds of it or whatever. All right, let's get back to it. Let me see what my chat's up to. They're in here chit-chatting. They're still talking about nutties. They're nuts or whatever. This is a crime channel now. This is not just a playground. I'm joking. All right, let's get back to this and see what's going on here.
They do the same thing with Abby's death, unfortunately. Who are you talking about, Robin? I can be however the hell I want to be. Go do something else. I'm not interested in you. All right? If you come in here and you criticize the way I do my show, you're not welcome. All right? Go do something else. I'm going to be me. You be you. And if you is coming in here and criticizing the show, then you're not welcome. And that's just the way I do it. All right? So go do something else. Find somebody else. Yes, I use sarcasm a lot in here.
I need to be that way on my channel. Thank you, Mr. Gray Hughes, for letting me know that I need to tighten up my wrenches. Debbie, you there? Debbie? 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 I guess she's on lunch. Let's get back to this case.
Hey, Congressman, I do.
Can you guys hear this guy talking?
We haven't seen the 87-page report, Cindy. We don't have the 87-page report.
Debbie, did you need a cup of coffee or anything? Are you good? Epiphonium, why don't you get her a cup of coffee? You seem to be so.
No, nobody's missing
Nice.
that part, Shelley. But I think these are officers that wanted to be the ones that solved it.
I'm joking.
So they were like, wait a minute,
Right,
wait a
let me
minute,
get
man. We have all this stuff on the Odinites. Listen, I'm just going to tell you guys are going to feel like weirdos coming up here, all right? When you get the actual truth, what's going to come out, it's not going to be Odinites. It's not going to be any of that stuff. I think these are three sort of run-of-the-mill cops that probably thought they wanted to make them. They wanted to be the ones that
There you go.
solve the case. And they're just like the people on YouTube, same shit. So even when facts change the information, they keep pushing a story that they want because they can't change with the facts. So
Maha, Mr. Gray Hughes. You're right about that. At this time that this case was going on, there was a battle for sheriff. Election time was coming up, and they were in a battle to see who was going to solve this case before election year. So that might be true. That might be true. And he did hit it on the button, just like some YouTubers out there that wanted to solve the case. Well, there was a lot of money on the line. Right? I think it was all diversion. Now, is it possible this Holder guy, what would be his motive? Why would he want to kill the girls? If his son was dating one of the girls, he might have been in love with her or whatever. I don't know. How much in love can you be at 12 or 13 years old? Right? At this time, I think one of the girls was 13 or 12, and the other one was 13, or one was 13 and one was 14. At 13, how in love can you be? But what would be the father's motive of killing the girl? Were one of the girls, and this guy Holder, I think, has changed his whole appearance completely. Really not sure. I don't know. I'll have to check more into it, but from what people are saying, I don't know. But what would be his motive? Why would he want to kill Abby and Libby? If his son, if he knew them, if his son was dating them, dating one of the girls. We're one of the girls over there seen something that they shouldn't have seen. I don't know. Right? We don't know. How intimate was their relationship? Can we even believe this report? That's the big question. Was she actually dating that guy? Right? Or just talking to him, which that's phenomenal. All right, let's see what else is got to say here. Hey, Epiphonium, what do you need something, Epiphonium? I guess you, Debbie already got it for you. I can feel that thing attacking me right now. It must be the great Odins. This is crazy. This Witcher stuff.
When you prove something to me, I'll change. So here's what's going to happen. When the prosecution comes forward and rebuts every single thing in here, I'll look at it and I'll ask myself, did that literally completely debunk that, or did it not do a good enough job? And then I'll have to make different decisions. And I'm telling you right now, if it turns out that the stuff that they're mentioning regarding the witness statements and stuff, if it turns out they're right and the prosecution isn't, I would have to change my mind on stuff because I'm using the probable cause document and how it boxes in Richard Allen. And, you don't just keep saying something when something's been disproven. At some point, if somebody comes forward and says, and we get to hear Richard Allen's confession, and let's say it isn't really a confession. It's like, man, I don't know why I felt that way that day. Wow, did you hear that? He said you know he felt that. I go, oh crap, that's not a confession. Shit. So I'm trusting them. All right.
Interesting. Epiphonium, do you need something? Does he need a bear or something? Debbie? Epiphonium? Anybody? Hold on a minute, folks. All right. Does Epiphonium need a bear? And I just gave you a coffee. Are you good on coffee, Debbie? Just let me know. Type in there right now. But let's get back to this. But he is right about that. You know what, folks? I can't even say anymore because it'd be stupid to. We're getting ready to go into the case, into court. And it'd be crazy to say anything because honestly, we just don't know because we don't have the proof. Right? We don't have the proof in front of our face to say this stuff is real. Just because somebody stamps the Odin files on it doesn't make it real. Guess what? Epiphonium needs a bear? I don't know. What do you need then? Let me know before we get started more into this. What time is it? I don't want to keep you folks up too late. It's almost 11 o'clock. No, we are good, thank you. All right. Okay.
But I'm not like other people where they go, Gray, man, you got to stick to your guns. What do you mean you stick to your guns when my guns are this. When I have all the facts in a row and there's no new facts, And right now, after the probable cause, that is what I have as an opinion. Now, if those things all of a sudden become untrue, am I supposed to believe the same thing at that point? God, I sure as hell hope not. I think you guys wouldn't want me to be like that, would you? Well, I said today on the interview that I think the rebuttal should be, if it's not allowed because there's a gag order, it needs to be leaked, because there's no way you can allow, there's just no way in hell you can allow for the defense to leak something like that, to create this ridiculous narrative, and then not be able to rebut it in public. Because all the people that are going down the crazy rabbit hole.
Yeah, crazy rabbit holes everywhere. Completely everywhere. I can tell you what, a lot of people are pissed. A lot of people are not. They think I'm crazy. I'm like, well, let's question. Let's get a couple detectives from Indiana up there to question Brian Kohlberger. And everybody's, oh, what? Brian Kohlberger. What? Are you crazy? No. Right? He's been known to be in this area before. He travels a lot, back and forth from his college to Pennsylvania. It's been known, a proven fact, that he has been in Indiana before visiting people. And so, yes, I did come out and say that in a video that I did a while ago, a couple months ago, that we wanted to question Brian Kohlberger on the Delphi case. And boy, people went nuts. People were like, are you crazy? I'm like, no, the MOs are similar from what we're being told. A knife was used. They weren't shot, but the perp did have a gun. Kohlberger was found with a gun. I believe a same caliber as what was used in the Delphi case that was found. I believe it was a 40 caliber. But people get mistaken because there is 40 calibers, I believe, that can shoot. Also 38 bullets. And I believe there's a switch there too, where a 38 can shoot a 40 caliber, depending on what weapon. You know? So it's possible. I don't know. But it wouldn't hurt to question Mr. Kohlberger. Now, I know the government said at this time they haven't gotten any more leads on Brian Kohlberger's DNA at this time in any other cases. But that does not mean that Brian Kohlberger didn't kill before or commit crimes. He might have, and he might have not left any DNA behind or any evidence behind. The only thing that would connect Brian Kohlberger to the case was the way Brian Kohlberger killed people. The knives and this technique. So that might be able to connect him to other crimes, even though they don't have his DNA. Does that make sense to anybody? I don't know. I'm going to ask you folks out there, the great people of YouTube land. All right, let's get back to listening to some more.
Well, like Cindy here, they need to be able to read it and go, oh, shit, okay, wow. Yeah, so that was 2017. Brad Holder was cleared. They actually looked at him. He was over here. Okay, yeah, he had nothing to do with that. So here's the thing. Does it affect any of you guys? For example, look how sure the defense is on all of these things that they're saying. If you can disprove two of them, let's just say you immediately can disprove two of the things that the defense is saying here, don't you just immediately go, oh, well, screw it. I'm not going to believe the rest of it. Because they're so sure about these things. I'm not sure what that even means, this account. No idea. Let's see. Okay, on March 1st, 2017, Tony Liggett stated in a report that there were no leads required. Yeah, we already did that. We were down here. It said, so are you telling me that within 30 days of the murder, although a simple review of Brad Holder's Facebook page would show that he was a proud Odinite and that had an absolute obsession and fascination with the runes, at least knew or had to know the runes had been left at the crime scene. Yeah, that's if you think the runes, right? Additionally, Unified Command already cleared Holder as a suspect in spite of the fact that runes on Brad Holder's Facebook page mimic runes found at a crime scene. Well, yeah, because what, did he have the list of runes and three of them were the same ones that you think that they are? It wasn't allowed. It was leaked, Lillian, and then it was blocked after it was leaked. It was leaked intentionally. There's no way it wasn't. And you know how we know it was leaked intentionally? Is because I knew about it 10 days before. Like LM actually, communicated with me. It was like, hey, there's like a rumor out there, and there it came. It came forward. So that means it was known to be going to be leaked 10 days before it was leaked. Okay. So, yeah, that's pretty good evidence that it was leaked. Court will also learn that Unified Command was aware of a very disturbing image on Brad Holder's social media account that actually mimicked the crime scene. Like, I want to see that picture. On April 12, 2017, Trooper Joseph Ryan Winters receives a phone call from a man in Georgia named Ryan Boucher, who had recovered, or Butcher, whatever, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Boucher.
Who had discovered disturbing images in Brad Holder's social media account. Having someone somehow learned that Brad Holder's son, Logan, had dated Abby Williams, Mr. Boucher began reviewing Brad Holder's social media history. One of the images Boucher viewed on Brad Holder's social media account was an image of two women, either dead or posed as if they were dead, on the ground in what appeared to be a forest. Both women had tree limbs and sticks arranged on their bodies. One of the women had her arms stretched out above her head, similar to the way that Libby's arms were stretched above her head. Both women were clothed, and the stick and tree branches formed on the girls was different than the sticks and tree branches formations on Abby and Libby, but otherwise it bore a very eerie similarity to the murder scene in Delphi. Okay, let me see it. No, it doesn't, Cindy. That's your just warped opinion. It doesn't all come down to the 87-page report. It doesn't all come down to anything. Okay, it has nothing to do with that. They cleared Brad Holder, so the report doesn't mean anything to them.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'm going to tell you, do not believe this documentation. This is an ongoing case. Right? A lot of people are worried. We're on DEFCON 1 around here. We're looking for any of these people to even come around me so I could just, I wish them MF would. I've been watching some of these women on these channels, and You know, you always ask them, "Are you afraid or anything?" I wish this MFer would come to my house. Right? People just wishing these people would come to their house. But you know, this Brad Holder guy. I'm telling you, this guy, he might be on the run. They might have been watching him and these YouTubers, and I do believe he's been on social media. And he's friends with a lot of you. From what Anthony Greeno claims, he solved the case, but he solved the case because he knew all these guys. Right? He was from Delphi, and he knew all these guys. Was, I guess, friends with them or knew them, or I'm not sure. Right? But could it be that the police were lying all along? They did pick up Keegan Klein because he was luring and getting photos of girls, young girls. And there has been a new task force that was created because there was trouble down there for a while. I believe right before Abby and Libby was killed. And they were focusing in on mainly these kitty porn people and gangs and drugs and trafficking and stuff like that. So they might have, you know what? The police might have been way ahead of these people in some of the stuff and not even known it. Meaning, there's a good chance that the police knew that the girls were being lured and tracking Keegan Klein and whoever was using that Anthony Shots account way before uh, any of this happened. Right? I don't know. It's getting late. I know you folks got better channels to watch and everything. So let me just finish here with what this last paragraph that he's reading.
Yeah, but what you said doesn't make sense.
Can
To
you
say
hear
it
it,
all
Debbie?
comes down to the 87. This all comes down to that 87 page report. Oh, you did? Well, if you said that, I'm just totally tired. I can't even barely read at this point. I tell you what, that 4-hour interview took a lot out of me. I don't know why. I mean, I do 4 or 5 hour shows. When I was sitting there, I even said on my, you know what I said on there, Cindy? I said on there, like I only get to read like 15 or 20% of the chat. So I make a lot of mistakes on what people are saying. That was one of my downfalls that I said. So, Ryan Boucher had no knowledge of the actual crime scene. Why was he looking at Brad Holder? However, after reviewing Brad Holder's social media site, Boucher was disturbed at the image, as well as other images that provided insight into the Brad Holder fascination with rooms. Anybody see these images? Let's see. Yeah, let's see it. Believing that the disturbing images may be something of interest to those investigating the Delphi murders, Mr. Boucher contacted Toby Lesenby, who at the time was the sheriff of Carroll County. Lesenby quickly rebuffed Boucher, telling Boucher that Holder was not a suspect. Undeterred, Mr. Boucher contacted the state police, where he ended up talking to Trooper Joseph Ryan Winter. After their conversation, Winters memorialized the interaction and placed the images provided by Boucher in a Dropbox account. After creating the report, Winters then discussed his findings face to face with Jerry Holman of the Unified Command. That's kind of interesting. The body of this memorandum will provide details of that interaction. In his report, Winters requested law enforcement to re-interview Brad Holder. Well, Winters, who the hell is Winters? Oh, the Winters is the cop. The defense does not believe Unified Command ever followed up on Winters' request. It should be noted that the disturbing images found by Boucher in Georgia and placed into a Dropbox by Winters were not and have still not been provided to the defense. In his recent deposition, Winters said that he had attempted to locate the images but was unable. However, because of the potential importance of those images to Richard Allen's case, the defense team located Boucher and then traveled to Georgia to meet with Boucher. You guys, I need some more energy, man. We're going to need to get some of those super chats up to make up for the.
All right, we're going to leave it at this. Tune in next time. Same channel, same back channel. So this just gets more interesting as it goes. Folks, be safe if you live in Indiana. These people are out. They very well might be on the run. We found a whole bunch of these YouTubers that were actually wanted and claimed that they weren't, but they were on the run. This witchery, sorcery crap might be right, might be correct. Do I think it was the Odin organization? No, I think it was just some people out here that practiced very evil stuff, witchery, sorcery, and killed a girl and made it look like it was something that it wasn't. And, might have killed many girls. I don't know. There's a whole list of women out there. But if Anthony Greeno is telling the truth and these police are corrupt and this was all covered up because it was a battle for sheriff in town, right? To who's going to be the sheriff. Heck, Anthony Greeno was going to run for sheriff, right? So he can solve the case, he said. So, phew. That's just unreal, right? But to each their own. You guys believe whatever you want to believe. Here on this channel, we don't make you believe anything. We'll bring you the news as much as we can. And if it's the truth, hopefully it's the truth, right? We'll do the best we can here. But until we go into court and actually see real documentation, real photos, not someone else's description of what happened, until we see the real evidence in court, how can you make a judgment of who is the killer? You can't. So, till next time, crime fighters, have a great night, be safe, and God bless. Thank everyone for stopping in.